It's a beautiful Friday morning in Lagos, the economic capital of Nigeria. And you are welcome to Enterprise Friday on Enterprise Television. I am Kendi Bodun.
And I am Henry Ikwebiki.
Right, we'll kick off with today's newspaper review before diving into the main conversation of the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss a moment. You can join the conversation by dropping your comments, liking and following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. So joining us to share the matters at hand is Barrister Evans Ufelu. He's a barrister and a public affairs analyst.
Good morning to you, Barrister.
Very well. Good morning.
Thank you so very much for your time. All right, people, let's kickstart today, interestingly, with some of the pages, some of the newspapers we have. And first off is the Guardian newspaper for today. And we have the big story, brain drain. Exhausted doctors, long wait times, test public hospitals' care capacity.
Wow. So on the top strip, we have investors avoid places where politicians control judiciary, says Jonathan.
And also below that particular story, or on the bottom strip here, we have Osun PDP warns suspicious letters on local government funds case approved.
We also have BOI secures adaptation funds mandate to drive Nigeria's climate action.
And also, we have the federal government unveils innovative loan scheme for retirees.
That's very good. So we also have NAS, that's NASS, withdraws contract circulars as 23.9 trillion naira capital budget rolls into 2026.
All right, so let's get to our talking point for today. Investors avoid places where politicians control judiciary, says Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, our ex-president. Barrister Evans Ufelu, given what President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has said, and considering judicial activism in our legal system, which is unfortunately a new normal, what do you think, how do you think the judiciary can save itself from what is known today as rule by law and no longer rule of law?
Yeah, I think for me, this is perhaps one of the wisest things I've heard from former President Goodluck Jonathan, that investors avoid to go to places where politicians control the judiciary. That is exactly where we are. That is exactly the problem of Nigeria as we speak. Okay? Because when investors are coming to invest, they check indices, one of which is economic injustice. Is there justice in the land where they're going to? How is judiciary faring? Are they independent, or they are still enmeshed in the cloaks from the hands of politicians that can be controlled by politicians and all that? And the judiciary walk into this trap. You understand? We were shouting then on television, on radio, and all social media platforms that judges should not accept gifts. It's part of the ethics of the profession. We saw what Wike did. We saw what the president did. First, the president increased their salary by 300%. Okay, when he got into office. Wike, they organize, real estate facilities to change their locations, and they give them cars and the rest of that. So the moment you are taking those things, you can no longer be unbiased. That is the truth. Even if you are not called further in the future, okay, to say, take this and do this, you are already corruptible. By virtue of what you have taken, your conscience is tilting you towards doing something that will favor those who have given you something. So that way, you cannot be dispassionate. Okay? You cannot see issues dispassionately. That way, you are already suffering from partisan obscurantism. You are obscured. You cannot see clearly again. So you will not be able to do the right thing. And so it's a very strong statement that the judiciary must work itself back. You understand? But it must work itself back. But the question you ask yourself, how easy is it for the judiciary to work itself back? New judges have just been appointed for the Federal High Court. Okay. These judges that have just been appointed, they will look up to the judges before them. It's given.
Yeah.
You look up to your predecessors. You look up to the people ahead of you. What they are doing is what will inspire you. So what are we going to teach these new persons who have just been appointed as judges? You see, because the truth is, we should not shy away from the fact that the judiciary by nature is supposed to be a sacred institution. A sacred institution that is extricated from society. You understand? In the days of yore, you don't even see a judge. Even if you see one, you don't know. That is why in Nigeria, the media is not allowed to put camera on judges.
Okay.
You only hear their names. If you see them on the road, you won't even know them. If you see them in the marketplace, you won't know them. The reason is like that is so that they will not walk into litigants who will come and start to beg them. I have 5 children, my husband died, I'm a widow, I'm a widower, my case is before your court. They want to take my... So they don't want... They are not part of society. That's why we don't put camera on them. It's not allowed. It's only in the US, you put camera on them and the rest of them. For Nigeria, it's not allowed. You only hear their names. So it's only lawyers and litigants that know them facially because we go to courts. Yeah. You understand? So as much as possible, if we want to determine the independence of the judiciary, which is one of the hallmark of uplifting Nigeria and the economy, is to ensure that the judiciary truly is independent. First, we must start by tinkering with the Constitution. The president of the country should not appoint the CJN. The president of the country should not appoint the head of the judiciary. Because, look at it, in the legislatures, they have mandate of the people. Okay?
Yeah.
People donated allegiance, ask them to lead, to make laws for them. Their constituencies. The president, the executive, people voted the president. That is why if you see all the ministers that represent the executive, they are appointees of the president. So when they fail, the president fails. Then the judiciary, there's nothing like that. For me, I think that the judiciary is supposed to be number one in the hierarchy of elections. Once you are professionally qualified and you have served the number of years you need to put in before you become a judge, and you are now a judge of the Supreme Court, whether you are senior or junior, they should all, whoever have interests, they should express their interests, and this thing should be subjected to elections. Because if it is subjected to elections, they can have, the vials to take decision absolutely. But someone listening to me now will say, what are you saying? The legislators that were elected, what are they doing? The ones that are elected are rubber stamping. They are rubber stamping decisions of the executive. Because the danger in what I'm saying now is that if we are saying that the judiciary should be elected, so what I'm not saying in effect is that they have to join political parties. That's the danger of what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because the law says, the Constitution says you cannot become whatever if you are not sponsored by a political party. Wow. Or are we not going to take an exception from the judiciary and say, okay, you know what, we're going to amend the Constitution and say, except for the judiciary, every other you can go by election, but you have to belong to a political party. Then for that of judiciary, you cannot do what they call independent candidates. Okay. That is the solution. Okay. Because we cannot enmesh, we can't enmesh them into politics. So they can stay aside. Because see, any reason, anything that empowers the president, law, legislation, regulation, whatsoever, to appoint the head of the judiciary, has already soiled the process.
Okay, in what way?
It has soiled the process because the head of the judiciary, who is appointed by the president, can he or she go against the president? Okay, look at the case that the PDP governor took to the Supreme Court about the state of emergency. Where is that case as we speak? Where is the case? This woman that is appointed by the president, does she have the vials to undertake that case? Look at the Constitution, look at the case, and tell the president that you were wrong when you declared state of emergency and remove a sitting governor. The Constitution Section 305 has given you that power to declare state of emergency. There's nothing wrong about that. You can do that so long as the conditions have been met. Okay. But that Constitution did not empower you to take out an elected governor. Even though the Constitution says you should adopt an extraordinary means. Extraordinary means, when you look at the interpretation section of the Constitution, does not include an or removal of a sitting, because the Constitution in itself has already given the position, section 188, as to how a governor can be removed from office. One is by death, the other is by impeachment, and the other is by resignation. So, if the Constitution had, preempted that a governor can be removed from office by a president, it should have included it. That under a state of emergency, we were held. It would have included it, but there was no premeditation by the Constitution. So where did the president not get that? So that's the question. Because of these lacunas, that matter is still lying fallow, unattended.
All right, so just before we get into that matter, because that's what we have for our main conversation, how can the judiciary possibly exfoliate itself from the welfare? They deserve it, just like every other civil servant. They truly do deserve taken care of. How can they possibly exfoliate themselves from not becoming partisan, even when they are interested in welfare from the executive?
Yes, when they are welfare, they're talking about their welfare. Okay, now, how does the legislature appropriate their welfare? They use first line charge, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't you put the judiciary on first line charge? It's not the executive that come to tell the judiciary, come to give judiciary money.
Yes.
It's on first line charge.
They appropriate it themselves.
So, because they control revenue in terms of approval.
Yes.
So, whilst they are approving theirs, the law can stock the judiciary within. And so you solve the problem of them going to beg cap in hand. So, every month it goes in, the interest goes in, their salary goes in the same manner. So we can do this, it's just that we don't want to do it. Because politicians want to always have their way. Look at the electoral reform that we're talking about. Everybody is shouting for electoral reform. They're not saying anything about it. The president is not saying anything about it because he doesn't want to create any reform that will stop his second chance at the presidency. Meanwhile, before he became president, it was because of the electoral reform that Jonathan put in place that even took him out. Where he felt that the judiciary should not, the INEC should not be influenced by whether incumbency or whatsoever. Because if Jonathan was to be cheeky on that day of that, as that 2015, he wouldn't have made that call. The moment Urubebe started shouting that all he needs to do is to send people there. When they scatter the whole thing, the next day will cancel it. That's it. But because he was progressive minded, he wanted the country to go forward. He does not want himself to be the clog that way. He opened the floodgate for these APC people who were the opposition then, crying to the high heavens that the man does not know what he's doing, he's clueless, is this, is that. He opened that floodgate for them. Since that 2015 till today, our life has never remained the same. It has been on steady decline from 2015 till date. Just over 10 years now. 10 years of going. You understand? So, this man, Tinubu, does not want to attend to the reforms. So what we are saying is, he just summarized Nigeria's problem. Investors won't go. If you like, the president have traveled America 36 times. How many investors have come in? It's not about your traveling. It's about what you have at home. Investors will not go to where they will not find justice. You understand? I was in a lift with the Lebanese when Tinubu was declared. When Tinubu was declared the winner, they declared in the night. Yes. So in the morning, I was in a lift. The Lebanese guy was not asking me that who won the election, and I said Tinubu. He says no, not Obi. I said not again.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
APC. This is a business tycoon.
Wow.
Those ones that have businesses here.
Wow.
He said, not again. You know, Peter Obi is an investor.
Yes.
He's a business person. So the business ecosystem actually supported him. And they were looking up to a government that will emerge with someone who understands what it is to do business and to create the ease of doing business. You understand? This one happened to me directly. I'm just at Adeola Odeku, Victoria Island. You understand? So, people have seen this all coming. And that's the truth. The judiciary will need to work itself back. What are the steps? What are the solutions? It has to extricate itself from, reject those gifts. Reject those gifts. That's the truth.
We just hope they will, given the situation in Nigeria, they all buy from the same market like everyone else.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in the country equally does affect them. Some of them have their kids in different Ivy League schools, and they have to pay from the money they make here.
Yeah, but everything is not money. Everything is not money. Sometimes,
given all of that,
you see, when we want to rubbish a system, we start to say, see, when you know that the doorway, you know, to Nigerians' redemption is tied around an institution or some institution. These key institutions, they must take a decision. You see, because what they are doing is going to affect a whole lot of people.
Very true. Now, from one issue to another, now let's go to the health sector, which is equally the same like what's happening with the legal system. What do we have there?
We have brain drain, exhausted doctors, long wait times, test public hospitals, care capacity.
Now, in that particular animation, still animation there, we have two doctors attaining to another doctor who is sick as a result of work overload.
Yes, that's really what happened. I mean, my sister came here yesterday, my sister, a nurse, came here yesterday, they say their MD, that is the doctor, the person in charge of the owner of the hospital where she worked, that the doctor broke down. You understand? Perhaps because of overwork. And he's now been taken to another hospital in Ikeja GRA, where he's been treated now by 4 other doctors.
Oh my God.
You understand? This is someone that has been practicing medicine since the 80s.
Wow.
So, but for overwork. So you see that while we are crying for redemption, the system itself is trying to help the system to stay. What I mean is, the medical institution, they are trying as much as possible to even sustain their own. That means there is a problem within. The one we discuss the problem without. That is the fact that they are not taken care of. They don't, you know, their hazard allowances, those things. The environment is not conducive enough. People are living, and the rest of that's the one we see. But the one that affects them internally is their own. How many of them is left now that you now start to have breakdown here and there? So you are going to run into a medical crisis. We're already in energy crisis. So other spheres of life, when you begin to have crisis in between or inward, you know it's a dangerous situation. It's a dangerous situation. So I think this government should look into this very sensitive areas. Public health care is not what you joke with. Public health care is not. Little wonder we are non-aligned. I mean, when it comes to international, we don't want to be involved in anybody that will threaten us, will threaten. We don't want to be involved because we cannot sustain the casualties when emergency happens. We can't. We cannot. I mean, when Ebola happened and all that, people say, Nigerians gave it all. Yes, we did, but our environment did more for us. The COVID, the same thing. Our tropical area, very, I mean, anything viral disease and the rest of that, we'll find it very difficult to the environment will suffocate them before they even get into the humans. You understand? So those are the advantages we have. If we had been in Netherlands or the rest of that, where it's almost finished an entire community, then you'll be talking something else. So maybe because our location and our natural resistance is why we don't take public health care serious. That's why we don't take. We see the way we work on mosquitoes.
It's normal.
Malaria to us, you know, there is a West that gives us the statistics of how many people it kills and the rest of that. Because the truth is that they used to have mosquitoes. They had to face it out. They faced it out, just like in Ireland, where they faced out reptiles. You cannot find a reptile, in there, no lizard, no snake, nothing. They face mosquitoes. So why can't we even face it out? Why? We can face it out. The technology is somewhere.
In a tropical region like ours.
Of course. There was mosquito in Europe now, in the past, even in America. You understand? But today you won't see mosquito there. Then it's here, then they are the one producing the drugs for us. And if you know what they generate from malaria drugs, there are some pharmaceutical companies, the only thing they do is malaria drugs.
Yeah.
Only thing they do. And I want stock market and all that. So what I'm saying is that we need to look at our public healthcare system very deeply. If the doctors are leaving and there are now few doctors, isn't it the time for us to begin to look at the sources of the major ailments? The sources of this major ailment. Since we don't have enough doctor again, then we should begin to block those areas. To let the National Orientation Agency should open up, teach people how to live healthy, how to eat healthy, live healthy, exercise, and the rest of that. Then in other areas like cancer and the rest of that, we need to look at what we eat, lifestyle, and the rest of that. We're never saying, no, I won't ask you for GMO to come in. You know, and in the places where the GMO is, they have doctors overflowing. They have so much so that even the ones here are going there. So our public healthcare system must be looked into objectively. The workload on them because of this syndrome is something else. And many countries of the world want to keep their citizens alive. They want to keep their citizens alive. They want to keep the economy bubbling. So I don't know of any country except perhaps for Nigeria that treat public healthcare with lip service. They don't. It's not, the universities are not even. It just take because we are extra talented. Most times, our educational system is very rigorous. So by the time you are out from the medical school, there's no way you can even come out from the medical school if you don't understand medicine truly.
Yeah, very true and true. Yeah.
You can't.
Very true.
I remember that in university when we are going for holidays, that's when they are resuming.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll be there. School. Yes, they'll be there round the clock. I think their break is 1 week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, round the clock.
Round the clock, they always because they don't run with the same calendar, the school calendar. You understand? So yeah, I think we have to look into it very well. Look into it more.
All right. So what else do we have?
Okay, we also have other stories here. I think we should just take this. FG unveils innovative loan scheme for retirees. Yes. Still on the
Guardian newspaper.
So I think this story is for me it's really a story that that gets the interest of everyone, and for the fact that federal government has really unveiled this innovative. So do you think how long do you think this will last?
You see, loan scheme for retirees, this is not a problem. Loan scheme for retirees. Let me give you a country in Africa. Okay. In South Africa, once you are 65, apart from the fact that whether you work before or you now earn pension or whatever, once you are 65, government starts to pay you from that age. Not loan, grant. Loan you pay back, grant you don't pay back. After retiree, you are already heading to your yearning years. Your yearning years departure lounge. Yeah. Is it that time you start to take loan? Because this thing they are saying that if they are going to give loan for retirees, the interest rate is going to be very high to match up the risk.
Very well.
You understand? Just like insurance. When I took insurance at 25. Okay. At that time I was taking insurance at 25. I had a cousin who was 40 then. We took the same insurance, but not the same. We didn't pay the same. And we're asking, why is his own so high? They said because of his age, that the risk, that he has the propensity to go before me. Oh. You understand? Yeah. So that they factor in that risk of his age into the insurance policy. You know, insurance manages risk.
Yes.
You understand? So the same thing with loan and all this. If you are going to be giving loans to retirees will mean people in their 65, 70, and the rest of that. Because it's not enough to do loan. The repayment plan is much more important than the loan itself. So if you want to give loan, now you'll be looking at these retirees that we want to give loan. Is it the ones that have businesses after retirement? That is, or just retirees, all retirees? What's the repayment plan? Is the federal government going to repay when, after their demise, or if they are not able to pay back? So would this not put pressure on retirees? That's my question. It's not enough to just declare you want to do what do you want to do? What's your objective? Why don't you put them under a scheme? Okay. Yes, that will pay them. That will pay them for their this thing. That's how it should be done. Not and this useless contributory pension that they are doing. That when they retire, they'll now be getting 14,000 and all those kind of 15,000, all those policemen and all that. This country should stop that useless embarrassment. People have served their country. When they get, you pay them. You pay them. You look after their welfare. That's how it's done in major countries. And the annoying thing about it is that this country have the resources to do that. But it has been embezzled. It's in the hands of politicians. One person will take the whole pension scheme and go and spend it. Mayina, where's Mayina today? Mayina took pensioners' money. Young boy that was appointed to manage pension funds took the money and ran away. So we should be able to manage retirees. Countries all over the world do it.
All right, so just before we leave, we have less than 60 seconds to do that. Let's just quickly go to the Vanguard newspaper, straight to our talking point for today. Plateau State targets a Middle East halal market to boost economy, says Muftuang barrister. We've degenerated to a situation where governors always look for shortcuts. Halal market is a Muslim system of market where you don't, the intention is not to make profit. Let it go round. And we ask ourselves, do you think that is even feasible in Nigeria?
You want to sell below cost price.
Below cost price.
Where things like that work is in what do you call it? Communist environment. Communist environment where when you come with your wares to the market, you don't have to sell. Whether you sell or not, government will pay you for coming out. Is the Plateau State government ready to do that? Because the only way you can even sell below cost price is if you have a system that replenishes it. Nothing is free. Anytime you go to anywhere where they say something is free, somebody is paying for it.
So somebody is subsidizing it.
Yes, somebody is doing something about it. Yes, you can't. I mean, that is the same Islamic bank system,
yes,
where it is like, it is more of a communal thing that let's see that wealth go round. But in the nature of things, wealth cannot go round. Wealth cannot go round.
So nature makes it that there should be difference.
No.
Can't everybody be comfortable and rich?
No, behavioral pattern makes it so.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Because even if you have, a poor man is a poor man. If you give a rich man 50 million naira and you give a poor man 50 million naira, you know what the poor man will first do? He will go to the market and buy one big television that is the size of this place. He will try to spend the money on enjoyment, on things that will not generate anything. You understand? So largely, just like someone said that when two poor men meet themselves in the house of a rich man, both of them become enemies. And that's what they do. Because one of the poor person will be looking at this other one. What do you come do for here? You understand? What is this one looking for here? So, that is why even in the Holy Writ, Jesus said the poor will always be with you. So it's not a curse, it's a pattern. You understand? Words cannot go round. Because even when in the Holy Writ, some persons were given resources according to their capacity. You understand? And when the master left, the one giving 5 went to multiply it. The one giving 2 went to multiply it. The one that they gave 1, they don't multiply anything. So it's just instructive that words cannot go round. Because if word go round, then the word riches will have no meaning. You understand? So for wisdom to be valuable, somebody must be foolish. You understand? So there must be, it's not going to go round. But the system we're talking about here is, how are they going to sustain this? Is there, I've not read the policy, is there something that the government is doing to impact on lost grounds? Or the government just want to be pushing policies that will not go anywhere?
Wow, lots of knee-jerk approach and by the administration, both at the center and equally at the sub-national also. But just to let you know, Barrister will be here to take us on our main conversation when we return. Wike vows to give Fubara free hand in governance. In a bit, it's still Enterprise on Friday. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so very much for joining us. This is still Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation for this morning. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has dismissed claims that he plans to interfere in the governance of Rivers State as Governor Siminalayi Fubara resumes office after 6 months of emergency rule.
Speaking on politics today, Wike made it clear that he would not recommend commissioners or impose candidates on the governor, despite speculations tying into the political crisis that rocked the state earlier in the year. He emphasized that his role was not to dictate, but to allow Fubara to govern freely and independently.
Wike, who served as Rivers State Governor before Fubara, explained that even if approached for advice, his response would simply be to encourage continuity in governance. He noted that his main concern is for his successor to sustain and build on the developmental strides already achieved in the state. According to him, Rivers is now at a level where it can compete with Lagos, and he urged Fubara not to allow the state progress to decline.
Okay. Meanwhile, Governor Fubara, who was suspended in March following his prolonged rift with Wike, was expected to resume duties on Thursday, but was absent from the government house. Supporters who had gathered to welcome him later dispersed in disappointment. Reacting, Wike clarified that there was no law mandating the governor to resume immediately, stressing that office resumption could depend on personal schedules or official plans. Oh, we still have Barrister Evans with us. Thank you so much for always being here with us. Okay, so just a quick one from this story we've read from our main conversation. Given the role of Nyesom Wike and President Bola Tinubu played in truncating democracy in Rivers State, how much of a blemish are they to democratic process in Nigeria?
There are a whole lot of blemish. They are the real players. This thing Wike is saying that it's not going to interfere with whatever. Of course, it's not going to interfere because he has already interfered. During the peace whatever the peacemaking period,
Yeah.
under which they had a meeting, intense meeting, wherein journalists were not allowed in. They instruct Fubara as to, they've already written a script and given to him. That's why Wike is saying all these things. He's lying. Lying because even if you approach him for advice, he's going to encourage continuity. If he's not going to interfere, because he has already interfered. He has already concluded the script of what Fubara must do. So, of course, he's right that he's not going to interfere any longer, because he has already altered it and they've told him what to do. And if he falls away from that, they will look for something else again against him. That's exactly what he's saying. Now he's trying to paint a picture of sainthood. Okay, like he's not going to be remoting Fubara. Or, of course, he's not going to be doing it actively now, because he has done it passively already, concluded it, and handed over the script to him. This is what you are going to act. Were they not the one that told him that he cannot contest again in the second listing? Was it not in that same pack that they put in everything he must, the do's and don'ts? They've already influenced it. I agree with him that it's not going to be seen monitoring him every day, because he has already monitored him and he has given him the script he's going to act out. And the Fubara I see him as someone who just wants to be subservient right now and complete his term, so that it will be in history that he was a governor for one term or whatever it is. Because even the APP that he used to conduct a local government election have been sacked. You now have another one by those ones that were sworn in the other day, were wearing funny, dirty caps and all that. So what else are you going to say? You understand? This one is saying now is for children. Yes, for secondary school children who will maybe stumble on this newspaper or this news item and say, it's not going to, that's not for us. No, that's not for us. The active onlookers, that's not for us.
Okay, so where does people like Asari Dokubo stand at this point?
Asari Dokubo have not spoken. I mean, he's a traditional ruler. So it's until he says what he has to say, we cannot decipher what is in his mind on the issue. Even the governor himself did not resume yesterday. So until he resumes and we look at all that have happened in his absence, a lot has really happened in his absence and the rest of that. So Wike, the president, is a real blemish to democracy in Rivers State.
Yes, so I remember very vividly when all of this issue started. You know, I had you several times as a guest here, and you did, give some legal advice on what Fubara should do going on. But as times went by, he didn't do any of those. It doesn't look like he wanted to even do any of those, if advised by his legal team and all. But knowing that this seems to us like a clean slate, what again do you think Fubara should go get doing legally now to possibly save whatever is remaining of him?
There are still 40 cases in court as we speak. So people are saying peace has returned to River. I say it's too early to come to that conclusion. Because when you are saying peace has returned, when you have cases in court and you have people at CG3 and all that, it's too early to say that. What he should do is to resume office and do what is within the confines of law. Yes, do what is within the confines of law. I don't think he should go and be challenging that local government election. If you ask me now, we're overflogging that local government. How many times are you going to have local government wahala in that state? I don't think Fubara should go back to. Because really, that structure was supposed to be what he should have used to have a comeback.
Yes.
Now that structure has been taken away. Wike, that is to even solidify further the fact that Fubara was actually told not to contest again.
And legally cannot be contested.
It can be contested. He can decide to contest. I mean, He can decide to say, yes, I'm going to contest again. Well, all he needs to do this time is to now see how he can garner enough support that can overwhelm the local government already constituted. He already has sympathy, which is one of it in Nigeria. He has sympathy. Then he has the resources. You understand? So if you really want to muzzle to Wike, to, you know, just like the former governor of Edo State, what he did to Adams Oshiomhole, moved away from APC, joined PDP, and in that PDP contested the election and won.
Because the people rallied around him.
The people rallied around him and he had the resources. Yes. You understand? You know, in his case, the State House of Assembly was not with him.
Yes, very true.
Because they were not even functional.
In fact, the same thing that happened, even at some point, you know, he picketed the House of Assembly.
Yes, because when he made the proclamation that was supposed to settle the the House of Assembly in motion, some people boycotted it. You understand? And when they tried to settle the matter, then Nene was alive and the tried to settle the matter, and they asked him to make a second proclamation. He said no, that the constitution said a proclamation. That we're not going to do that. And so many of the lawmakers that were voted never resumed office. Yeah. For that whole year was from one problem to the other. Even the issue of breaking down the State House of Assembly.
Yes, exactly.
It also occurred, blocking it also occurred in those states. Almost everything the same thing. So does Fubara have the vice to go all out like the Edo State governor?
Do you think he has the persona to do that?
No, the reason he can do that, but the fear now is the emergency rule.
That might be
because under Buhari, because under Buhari, no, the constitution did not say you can only do it once. Constitution says anytime there is tension, war, epidemic, you understand, insurrection, the time that cannot be quelled by security forces and all that. So for Edo State, Buhari did not declare state of emergency, even though that one was even more intense than the River State one. So because Buhari was not in cahoot, there was no minister from Edo State that was fighting the incumbent government.
Okay.
It was just Adams Oshiomhole, who at that time was had just been removed as the chairman of the APC.
Yes.
You understand? But in this particular case, Tinubu have a minister who is the FCT minister, who he delivered River State to, who has promised the president again that he will deliver River State to him again. So you see the difference in the Edo State case and this particular case. So if Fubara wants to do what this guy in Edo State did, he's going to find it difficult. He's going to find it very difficult. This time around, they will declare state of emergency. After 6 months, they will renew it again for another 6 months. And you know, you just have 2 years to go, or less than. You understand? So they can make him to just have that name as a governor, but he will not sit on that seat.
But don't you think that the resumption of democracy in Rivers State was as a result of the very subtle but very toxic pressure by Nigerians on Tinubu? Don't you think that would have led to him ensuring that that state of emergency ended, and not really that it was just supposed to end?
No, but despite the pressure then, it still went the whole hog of 6 months. It's the constitution that says 6 months.
Yes.
So he does not want a situation where after 6 months, he will not, because that one is a natural recipe for conflict. For 6 months to pass, and this man is still there. No, that one would have been. You can't stand that one.
Because that was why I was wondering if there could be a reenaction of another state of
I'm
emergency
just
if the worst happens.
I'm just saying,
The fear of
What I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that's what it's going to do. I'm saying if Fubara want to go all out, then Wike also want to go all out. You understand? And as a Shomole and the former governor of Edo State, they smuggled it out to a point. You understand? Where it became apparent that Adanso Shomole could not defeat, because this man had a sympathy, he had the crowd, he had the resources. Fubara had the sympathy, he had the crowd, he had the resources, but it's not in line with the federal might.
Oh, okay.
With the federal might, it cannot be opposing Wike and be in line with the federal might. You understand? So when you put that all together, what we are seeing is a situation where, in Nigeria, the people can be for you, and you will still lose out.
That's if there's no free and credible election.
Yes, now the people were for Peter Obi now.
Yes, very true.
The people were for Peter Obi and they still lost that election because of federal might.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's what I'm saying. The last I've not been heard about Rivers State. I mean, I think I still feel that there will be problems somewhere.
Yeah.
Especially when the State House of Assembly are not progressive. They only want to do Wike's bidding. And if you want to do Wike's bidding with a governor that don't want to do Wike's bidding, you're going to have problems. Except you have a governor that want to do Wike bidding. Then they can all work hand in hand to ensure that Wike is able to redeliver Rivers State to the president again in the next election. Because now that he has the local government chairman, what else do you need? You have 23.
Yes.
And they are the grassroots mobilizers. What else do you need to really take, the state and hand over to the president in the election? They already have it. Because the other alternative was for Fubara to defect to APC, and then the president and Wike can now work with him directly. On that case, the natural tendency will be that all those people that won under the APP, because APP have no future in Nigeria, they are just using it as a vehicle to sustain political value. So if the alternative is that Fubara defect to APC, then from there the president and Wike can use him directly, extract what they want from his already established structure. But they didn't go that route. What they did is to disband that one. Came out using the court system. Came out and installed theirs. Because they cannot even trust Fubara fully.
Yes.
To say yes. And two, I don't know whether it was part of that discussion for him to defect. And he wouldn't want to do that because he's going to incur the wrath of the people.
Very well.
To just defect. It takes a very stone-hearted person like Atiku, the likes of Atiku and the like of Fayose, to defect irrespective of their followers or what their followers think.
But we saw it in Akwa Ibom. We saw it in Delta.
And that was stone-hearted.
But both gentlemen didn't look like they were stone cold.
No, you see, the influence. See, Delta State was influenced by EFCC's Okowa's prosecution. You understand? Then, Akwa Ibom's own was the fear of resurgence. What I mean is, the fear that if you don't move, you may not get the second term.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Okay. This man is a greenhorn. He wants to be with the center. He doesn't want to gamble this thing, say PDP is strong enough here. You understand? He saw what Akpabio did and what became of Akpabio overnight. Yes. Akpabio became minority that to when he moved, he became a minister of the NDDC. Yeah. From there, he became Senate president. You understand? He practically the Akpabio move from PDP to APC gave him accelerated political capital.
So
Because
you want
from
to
that,
apply the template.
yes, because from that time till now, it has been on steady ascension. Steady ascension. You understand? So the influences that surrounds him are influences of when you align with the center, your life is changed. So whatever it is, the failures of Tinubu don't matter to them.
And that might not be a naivety. They might not be naive in doing that.
No,
Because they are following suit a template. So like
yes,
would say,
president.
you know, like what someone does and is given a round of applause. Someone else might do it and he would get the slap of his life.
Yes.
So Akpabio must have succeeded or would have succeeded. That doesn't necessarily mean that Oborowori might see the light of the day.
Yeah, because if you look at the chemistry of that of Delta State, Ovio Magege is not somebody you can push around.
Definitely.
And it has its own already established structure. They went to the polls. Okay? They actually went to the polls and came out second in that polls.
And he's strong-willed.
Yes. So they went all out there. And they even said that they won the election, that was rigging disciple use and all that. So whether that was true or false is something that Oborowori ought to have considered, because now that he's in the APC, Ovio Magege is also in that APC. It's not a guarantee that he's going to have a comeback. But since he has the resources and is the one leading the party now, I mean Oborowori.
Yes.
Ovio Magege, when he goes on primaries, which this thing is going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough because the only way I see Ovio Magege, if you still want to contest,
Yes.
to be able to have a fair day, a good day to go back to PDP. This is the kind of analysis I did for P2B when I was being vilified. Because I wouldn't, and Ovio Magege shouldn't go out there with primaries with Oborowori. Given that they have state might and state resources, they will mobilize the delegates.
But when you look at the temperature of the Delta State people, are they more sympathetic to Omoagege or to Oborowori?
They are divided.
Okay.
They are divided because Sheriff took the entire PDP structure along.
Individuals, not the local, the average man and woman on
No,
the
not the
streets.
average man. I mean,
Yes.
the card carrying people.
Okay.
I know the card carrying people alone, they are not sufficient to
Of
give
course,
you victory.
definitely, yeah. They're not.
Loyalists
Yes.
and party acquaintances, those ones who what they bring to the table is support. They don't want to carry your card. What they bring to the table is mobilization and support. So, is Omoagege popular in Delta? Yes. Delta South, Delta Central. You understand? Delta North, largely so, because he went to school in Delta North.
Okay.
And he's highly detribalized because he speaks virtually all the language. He speaks even my
Really?
language. Yes.
Wow.
He's schooled in my own end of the state, could speak the language, is from the other end, and is also able to infiltrate it's able to infiltrate the three the entire space.
Yes.
The three
Senatorial districts.
senatorial districts. The three senatorial districts. Because, so at the end of the day, the days to come will really tell us where things are. And those who are left in PDP have sworn that these people that moved,
Yes.
of course, not very influential people, the ones that are just disenchanted, who have been in PDP for a long time, have sworn that nobody is coming back to muzzle them. You understand? But for me, my advice to Vemagi, if you want to hit this record, is to come back to the PDP. Because that PDP did not really lose its whole energy just because Sheriff moved.
Very true.
It did not. If we want to go by free and fair election, the the old mama in the village and the old papa in the village and some of these people, their allegiance is still to PDP. Yes. You need to actually prove to them with evidence in this failure that APC is failing us that's the way to go.
Exactly.
That's where they are now. They are more losing their lives.
Yes.
You understand? So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the especially in Delta State, the next election is going to be very interesting.
Well, I just hope they are listening, because some of these things that we just say might look like not necessary, but sometimes they matter.
Yes.
There's devil in the detail, and
Very well.
I think it's very so important. So let's get back to River State yet again, and the Nyesom Wike and the Fubara issue. What do you have there?
Okay, still on. Okay, for this one we have, when should Governor Fubara be expected? Okay, sorry, no. Why might Wike consider it necessary for a legal standpoint to publicly distance himself from allegations that's of the interference at this time?
Well, he wants to prove that all the while it was not because of his own interests. It was for the good of the state. That was what he's saying. He wants to also let us know that as Fubara is resuming, Fubara is not bearing allegiance to him. He's bearing allegiance to the people. That's what he's telling us. But that is for children. You cannot tell you can't tell a lawyer that. You can't tell a politically exposed person that. Someone that have awakening as to what is going on. Because you have already given him what you want him to discharge, what you want him to deploy. So he's hiding under the facade that whatever Fubara is going to do henceforth. Fubara is a man of his own. That whatever he's doing from the full agency of his body, spirit, and mind, and his full agency, the full agency of his mind. But that couldn't have been the case under Nigerian politics. Nobody does that under Nigerian politics.
Or could it be Wike is being tricky about the whole situation?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's saying that you can say that to. You can't say that we just. It's just a framework. It's a setup.
Okay.
Yes, he has been told what to do. So there's no point coming in between while the match is ongoing to see telling what to do again. He has been told what to do, and that is it.
All right, so let's take a look at the personality of these two significant figures, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nyesom Wike, because it's beginning to look like Nyesom Wike is following the template of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ascending to the position of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially with getting River State yet again. But let's juxtapose both gentlemen with respect to how politics is played in the regions. In the Southwest region, you have a better understanding of how they play. Now compare it to the former Mid-Eastern region, or the what was it called then?
Mid-Western region.
Mid-Western region. So do you think there's the possibility of Nyesom Wike achieving the success of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Because that's what it's looking like. He is planning.
It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be that's after Tinubu.
Yeah, after Tinubu, or maybe let's say in the future, sometime in the future.
Because after Tinubu, power will be going back to another.
Yes, possibly.
That's according to the constitution of the APC. Then the PDP too, have similar rotation. Except that when parties like ADC and the LP comes into the front burner, yes, I see it to be very difficult for Wike to. I mean, Wike contested the primaries. Now, right? I said sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he
with,
did.
Yeah,
yes,
with Atiku and the
Yeah.
rest of that. Yeah, he did, and the rest of that, because that is to tell you that he has eyes for the presidency. He has eyes for the presidency, but didn't make it because Tamboa and the rest of them did the first one. They played the first one, and the fact that Atiku also have been an old timer there with all he put in to ensure coupled with the fact that Okowa had to take 1.3 trillion of Delta State money to support that shenanigan that failed woefully. So the whole resources he pulled was able to help him to come to that position. Okay, so as to, you see, it's not very easy to project or prophesy who will become, whether Wike truly will become, will have that opportunity to set himself out there and get the support it requires. Especially because Wike is like a prodigal now. You cannot sustain that kind of trust when you have one leg in one party, another leg in another party. People cannot give you, because if I want to support you, I want to know where you are. You understand? With what Wike is doing now, is it credible enough? Or maybe before that time, he's going to pull himself out from one and join one.
Because when you take a look at his behavioral traits, coming from when he was the local government chairman of Obiabo, and we saw him so many times. It's on different social media platforms with Peter Obi. He knows how to, knows how to make himself look small and all that. Bows down to greet everybody. Yes. And little did they know that he was actually, gearing up his profile. And
today, he's saying that if you want to destroy PDP completely, bring Peter Obi. And well, that's his last word on that issue. Yes. That's the same man he was, looking very, very young that he should be. At that time, with what he was doing on that. Today, he looks older than even all the politicians that were governors at the earliest stage of the Fourth Republic.
Yes.
You understand? Yesterday, he was on Politics Today yesterday, right?
Yes.
Was making so many talk. And, he has not changed one bit. So the days to come will determine whether or not he can. But I doubt it if you can be in two places and still be calling for, because the Tinubu is supporting today. By when Tinubu will be concluding, Tinubu will concluding 2027. I don't want to believe he's going to win again. I don't want to believe that. So by that time, Tinubu, how old will Tinubu be? By the time Wike will be coming to contest, how old will can Tinubu, you understand, reciprocate the support? Will you be able to reciprocate at that time? Just like Buhari. Buhari barely survived his own government. He would have died inside his own government. He barely survived his own government. You understand? So at that time, so the days to come will determine whether or not.
Definitely, because we're talking about 12 years coming.
12 years.
Yes, 12 years. So a very, very long one.
It's a long time.
A long time. Well, let's just see how this goes, though. But of course, we'd love to give it up to the River State people. You guys are the real gem. You actually made all of this complete. You didn't protest violently to all of the things happening in River State. You held it down and carried on like nothing happened. First time in Nigeria where a country or a state is being governed by a sole administrator, and the people were very calm, and even when Nigerians wanted them to protest, they didn't even desire to protest at any point. So congratulations to them, and we wish things will get better in River State. Thank you very much, Barrister.
Yes, my pleasure.
All right, that's just about the time we have. We'd love to say thank you to you for making this picture complete. Please do well to follow us. You can read up on everything we've talked about when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally rewatch, if you may, when you see us at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry. Good weekend.
And I am Kendi Bodun.
Thank you for watching on behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television. Thank you once more, and we see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.